Are they here? Missionary Baptist Church? Okay, we're going to have Mr. Ned Rawls do an instrumental version. Thank you, sir.
Do you have a program here?
No, I haven't seen it.
I've got one for you. In the bottom.
Yes. We've been improvising for hundreds and hundreds of years. So we know how to do this. Okay, my brother.
Test 1, 2. At this time, we're going to ask that the Honorable Dr. Sankofa Anderson make his way to the stage. We're going to ask that Sister Dawn Noto of the Susan B. Anthony Association make her way to the stage. We're going to ask that the Honorable Darrell Porter, Assistant to the Mayor of Rochester, New York, make his way to the stage, please.
Can we give them a round of applause, please?
This is unofficial, but our next mayor of Rochester, New York will be Darrell Porter. Please put your hands together, Rochester, New York, for Dr. Sankofa Anderson as he talked to us, teach us a little bit about the Honorable Frederick Douglass. Give him love. We could do better than that, Rochester. Give him love. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Douglass is away on the serious business of making the Emancipation Proclamation and the signing of the peace treaty at Appomattox Courthouse something that will last and rebuild the nation on. And we are here in celebration of the fact that it took a while for the message about emancipation and the end of the Civil War to get to our brothers down in the Galveston, Texas area. But we are pleased to announce that they did get the message, finally. And they are now deep into celebration. And we are to celebrate in a complimentary way what they have done. Now, as I last talked with Mr. Douglass, he was telling me what he had learned about things in Texas, a rather peculiar territory, larger than any other organized area in the nation. And they say that there was a young fella reached there named Reuben. And I'm anxious to see this Reuben because somehow it folds into my story. Because you see, way back in the day, Daddy said that his mama her name was Jane, and her sisters, and her mama was laying, sleeping in the cabin. Because, you know, they worked them long hours out in the cotton field. You understand what I mean? So they had to get some rest, because they're supposed to be out there again at 6 a.m. in the morning. They didn't have no clock, but they had an internal clock. They knew how to get around. And they say that Jane was the one who slept on a pallet. Y'all don't even know what pallet is, do you? Anyhow, she was down low to the ground there. She slept on a pallet near the door of the cabin. The sister and mama, they slept around the other side there. So all of a sudden, she woke up because somebody was holding on to her hand. And then she recognized it was her brother, named Reuben. Reuben said, shh, shh, shh. She said, Jane, I'm going. I got to go tonight. Well, where? And he squeezed, I said, squeezed down on her hand so hard that it choked off the scream she was going to let out. And he said, Jane, I got to go tonight. Because you see, I was over there at the barn today putting away the mules I was plowing with. And they didn't see me, but old Master Hatton, and that there Jim Evans fellow, they come up, they just talking. And Hatton say, he think he got a slave what can read and the highest bidder in Texas. Lord have mercy. Jane, I expect old Master Hatton done about figured out hits me, knows something about reading and writing. And when he catch me, you got that right. When he catch me, he gonna sell me, just like he did our daddy. So I got to go. And she understood. He was right. But where are you gonna go? How you gonna get? Jane, I hear tell there's some folks just north of here near Elkmont. What helps a body what wants to take his freedom? You know, they risking a whole lot, but they do that. And if I can find them, maybe they'll help me get across the river. And get across the river. They say the Yankee Army is coming this way. They's over there in Tennessee. And Jane, if they let me join up with them, I'll show them how to whip the Confederates. Then I come back and free you and Mama, and then maybe we find our daddy, if he's still alive. And so she got up from there. And he steady talking to her as they walked out into the moonlit night. He said, Jane, I may end up in Texas, but I hear tell that north of here there's a big river they call the Ohio, and another they call the Susquehanna, something like that. And they say if you can get to the other side of either one of them there rivers, nobody stop you from reading or writing. And they walked on down through the woods till they come to a river. Oh, now this here was not the what name of that river? Susquehanna, yeah, it wasn't that one. And it wasn't the Ohio River either. This here was the Tennessee River. See, the Tennessee dropped out of Tennessee over there in the west near Memphis. Any of y'all from Memphis? And it rattled along the top of Alabama and swing back up into Tennessee over near Chattanooga. Anyway, that's where they stopped. And she watched him as he took off his little raggedy clothes and little beat up shoes, and he tied them to a little stave. That's what they call a limb from a log, little stave. And you don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he tied them to this stave, see, and he set that log in the water. I said, Jane, I may not ever see you again on this side of the Jordan, but I want you to keep your mind set on freedom. And he stepped in the water and started pushing that log. And every step he took, the water got higher and higher on his body till he had to start swimming. And Jane was scared, and she closed her eyes and started to pray. And it tell me it went something like, please, Lord, guide my brother
God's gonna trouble the water. Why don't you lead him up to the freedom land? God's gonna trouble the water. Why don't you wade in the water? Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. God's gonna trouble the water. And when she opened her eyes, she didn't see her brother. In fact, she never saw Reuben again. Some say he must have got caught by the paddlers. And they might have beat him up something awful and him trying to fight back. Maybe they killed him. Some say that the law caught him and they shipped him off to Texas. Some say he found the Union Army, the Yankee Army, and they did let him join up with them. And he went on with them to try to win freedom for his peoples and to save the nation. I don't know which one is right, but what I do know is that a whole heap of them brothers and sisters that took their freedom, they didn't just keep running. They turned around and tried to make it possible for the rest of their kin to get free. And so as we gather here today in the absence of Mr. Douglas, just know that he was the first one to send out the call. Men of color to arms, now or never. Better die free than live slaves. Celebrate! Miss Don.